Good evening and welcome to the latest Ade Asks interview, where this time I think an interesting conversation with the leading goal scorer for the last 2 years, Ben Harris. Ben, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Enjoying your time off and now back to work, I hear.
Yeah, too busy with work, but yeah, enjoy the time off. But I think I'm ready to go back to football now.
You recovered from all your injuries now? Your hamstrings a little bit better?
Yeah, hamstrings are good. Touch wood, I've got no other injuries at the minute. So, no, it's good. It's good. It's, the break's probably done me well, actually.
And how's the family? They all okay?
Family's good. Family's very good. Everyone's busy. Everyone's back to work. My partner's waiting on a air hostess for Virgin redundancy thing. So fingers crossed for that. But everything else is good.
Right, excellent. So obviously we put out, as we do with every interview, we ask people to put some questions in. I know you've seen some of them. I've got a few as well. With the news that has come out today with the playoffs, just want to ask you a quick question about the playoffs.
Yep.
If the playoffs go ahead, how difficult is it for you guys to get match fit? Because there's a difference between being fit and match fit, isn't there?
I've never been fit, so I don't know. I've been training for like 60, 70 minutes, and that's me done. But no, I think everyone tries to keep himself fit to a certain level, but as you said, it's a lot different whether you can go on a run or cycle compared to a 90-minute game of football. But I think the boys have all been doing their bits to make sure they're ready to go if need be.
Yeah, it should be interesting meeting tomorrow when we find out what's going on. But you obviously hope that the playoffs go ahead, don't you?
Obviously, yeah. I think we all do. I think everyone does. Not too sure what happens with the relegation bit, but that's not down to us. But whether it's 4 teams or 6 teams with the playoffs, I don't think we know anything about that yet. But whether we play Dartford at home or Havant away, all the boys will be raring to go. I know that.
Right. Let's start. We could talk for ages about your early career because you've played for nearly every club within a 15-mile radius by the looks of it. But I want to concentrate on your time in New Zealand because maybe not a lot of people realise about that. How did it come about that you started playing football in New Zealand for a couple of years?
So when I was at Hampton and Richmond, they had a guy there who was doing the media for Hampton, and he actually was a Kiwi. And somehow he found out my mum actually lives in Auckland with my little sister and stepdad. And then I actually had a bad back injury at the time. This was when Dowse and Tyler were managing, and I actually got written off for the rest of the season. And he was actually going back home, and he asked me. He said, "Once you recovered, if we, we'll pay for the flights, we'll put you up, we'll, give you a great experience if you just want to come over for a few months." And at first I was just not with it. I didn't, obviously after the injury and everything was going well here with work, I think it was more just a little bit of talk. Then a couple of months went by and he sent me a contract offer across and tickets and all that, and I said to my boss at the time, I was like, "What do you reckon I should do? It's only for 3 months." He said, "Go for it." He said, "Your job will still be here." So that was good to hear. So I just give it a go, and that's when 3 months turned into 3 years.
Wow. What was the lifestyle out there? Was it more nice and relaxed?
Unbelievable. If I could pick my family and friends up, I'd move there in a heartbeat. I loved it there. People were nice. The weather was good. There was so much to do. I got into my diving, my golf, my fishing. Yeah, it was incredible. It was probably the best 3 years I've had.
And what about the football over there? What kind of level is? Because you played in is it the top division there?
I played in the National League there, which is their top division. But the actual team who bought me out, they were. I don't know what sort of standard that was. It wasn't the greatest standard, but it was more of an experience one, for me to go out there and do, do what I can do out there, and two, to help them, help the youngsters develop. I actually play for a team called Richmond Athletic, and they had probably 5 or 6 sides out every single weekend. Boys, girls, the lot, and I'd done quite a lot of coaching there, which was really good. And I'd always had the little kids asking questions, and all that sort of stuff. It was really good. It was really good.
And you came back, unfortunately. I guess that was quite sad then.
It was. I actually, after about 2 years, my brother was getting married, and he's my best friend, so I couldn't really say no, and I ended up being best man and having to do all that. So yeah, as I said, I was there for 2 years. At the first, 2 or 3 months was tough. Obviously, new place, fitted in, rah, rah, rah. But then after I, found my feet and done what I had to do, I loved it. I tried getting it. Well, I got an extra visa so I could stay longer. I got a football offer from a different team in Wellington at the National League. So it was all going well, and then my brother decided to get married, and I had to come back for that. And obviously, coming back and seeing all my family, my friends, my nieces, my nephews, it sort of hit home that home is here for me, even though I did love it there. And it'll always have part of my heart, and I'll always go back there. I just went there in January for one of my best mates' weddings. Took my partner over there. She met all the people I grew close to, and my family and all that sort of stuff. So I'll always go back there, and maybe one day I'll raise a family there. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
What's you going to take Arbor Park over as well, and the Slough fans as well?
I will. I'll take as many as I can. I might leave Bakes and Unders just for now. Then they can come over on a separate flight.
You don't need any cones moved or anything like that, then, no.
If I do, I'll ask Birdie, because I know he's he don't know what he's doing around the football pitch, so maybe he knows what he's doing with cones.
You and Birdie get on quite well, don't you?
Yeah, me and Birdie are close. We live 2 minutes away. My partner's friends with his partner, and yeah, no, it's good. It's really good. To be fair, I've got a good relationship with all the boys. There's not a bad one between any of them, to be quite honest.
And you're enjoying your time with the boys. Everyone says it's great in the dressing room and stuff, but you must be part of that that makes it great. You're not the quietest of people, are you?
No. I don't think me and quiet go too well together. But we've got characters. Obviously, I'm loud, annoying, and then you've got the likes of you've got your Birdies, you've got your Jack Turners, you've got your guys, your Mannies. We've got a mixture of everything. It's we've got a good balance. We've got a real good balance.
And I was told by our illustrious chairman, John Porter, to ask you about night outs, but we had a little chat beforehand. I don't think that we can actually reveal any of those stories, can we?
Let's leave the nights out for a night out, because there's also a special story of Trent in there somewhere, but we'll leave that out as well.
I guess we'll have to leave out the presentation night from last year as well, then.
Yes, can't remember too much of it, but yeah, we'll leave that out as well.
Let's turn to your style of play, because I guess the easiest way to describe it is Marmite, is because some people like you and how you play football, and some people think maybe you're a little bit of a liability with the fact that you go charging in and stuff like that. But that's what makes you, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not gonna change that because someone tells you they don't like my style of play. If they don't like my style of play, don't watch me. I don't. It's no skin off my back. I don't really care. Some people love it, some people don't. That's part of football. You can't please everyone, and it's just how I play. If I change my aggression and my determination to go and possibly win the ball when I shouldn't really win it, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to pull out of a challenge, or I'm not going to go flying into anything or anything like that just because someone doesn't like it. It doesn't bother me. I don't care about that.
you don't care about what people say when you. We'll talk about a certain game in a minute, obviously, because that came up quite a bit. But you go in for a challenge full-blooded, don't you? And that's what it is.
I remember when I was younger, my dad always taught me, if you're going in for a challenge, you go in for a challenge. You don't go half-hearted or go, over a limp foot or anything. That's when you get hurt. So whatever challenge I go in for, whether it's at training, on the pitch, or against my niece or nephew, I'm going in to win the ball and take the man. Like that's part of football. I'm not gonna pull out of a challenge. That's just how it is.
Do you think that maybe people don't see the fact that because you're like that it rubs off on other players? Because I remember Dan Roberts saying that he watched you and you chased down a lost cause in a game and you blocked the ball. And then he looked at that and thought, well, hold on a minute. If Ben's doing it, that's what I've got to do. Do you think that people don't realise the effect that you have as being a full-blooded person that your fellow players respect?
I think I think the boys do. Don't get me wrong. I probably I'd probably chase down too many lost causes, but again, that's how I play. And even if it happens once in every 10, I chase the ball down, block it somehow, and we get a scoring opportunity from that, then it's quids in really, because I have no right to go for the ball, and if it creates something out of nothing, then it's a bonus. But as you said, it's we're always a team who try and press forward and win the ball high. That gets beaten into us by bakes and unders. And if I go, I know I've got the likes of Togs and Ledchi and Max and Wazza all coming behind me. And then, as you said, the likes of Dan, who that isn't his game. Like he's a pretty footballer. He's a great young footballer. He doesn't do that. But if he can take a tiny bit of me from that, then he can take the other bit from people like Manny. Then he can have a little bit of everything. But I think if I lead from the front, then the boys are going to follow as well. It's just like at the back. Jack leads from the back. Everyone's going to follow.
Do you think that wearing your heart on your sleeve maybe sometimes gets you into a little bit of trouble, maybe?
Definitely, but that ain't going to change.
And what about referees? Have you got some that when you see a team sheet and you see a referee's name, you look at that and you're thinking, oh, not him?
To be fair, I think about every single team sheet. I'm not going to say too much about referees. They do their job. Whether I agree with it or not, that's up to them. Like I wouldn't do it. I'm sure there's loads of referees out there who hate me, but the feeling's mutual, and that ain't going to change either.
Do you think you've got a reputation then? Maybe the referee's looking at a team sheet and going, "Oh no, Ben Harris is playing."
Probably, but as he said, he's got to do his job. I've got to do my job without, going behind that line. But yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I ruffle a few feathers, and I'm sure they know how to wind me up as well.
Is it just though a game? Because I think a lot of people don't understand is that you guys, lots of people go to a game and they'll go for the game. They don't stay afterwards. They don't realise, that you guys, you stay behind, and you must be as one of the last players to leave on a home game. I know you live local and it's easy for you, but people don't get to see that side of you because you're quite approachable in the bar. You're always jolly. Do you just have like a game face?
Yeah, definitely.
And then once that whistle goes, that's it. And when it finishes, that's it.
Definitely. On the pitch, I know I probably come across as an idiot at times, and not a likable character. But as I said, that's on the pitch. Off the pitch, I'm a totally different person. As I said, even if I have a fight on the pitch with an opposition player, I'll still go and have a beer with him in the bar after. That's just how I play, and that's just who I am. And as you know, I've had a couple of beers with you. I'll buy anyone a beer and have a beer with anyone. And if they don't like that for that reason, they don't want to have a beer with me because what I'm like on the pitch, then no skin off my nose.
you think though that people don't, realise that, because a lot of people don't come afterwards and don't see you guys, because you guys are all approachable. Not just you, but all the players are approachable, and none of you turn around and tell someone to go away. You listen and do that. People don't realise that after a game, do they?
No, definitely. But yeah, we get a good crowd backing. But I would like to see more fans coming up to the bar and socialising a bit with the players. And yeah, just having a beer. Just having a beer after the game. It's even if it's just one or a cold drink or whatever. Because as we say, like, you guys only see us on the pitch, and I'm sure so many players are different on the pitch, just like managers. I'm sure fans disagree with some of the management tactics or the decisions to who to play. But there's nothing stopping you coming up in the bar after and having a quick chat. There's nothing stopping that at all.
Done in the right way, obviously.
Because, yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't want anyone coming up to me and telling me what I've done wrong or done right, because it's probably not going to go down too well, unfortunately.
Something that I saw when we went down to Eastbourne this year, because obviously last year you scored that goal from inside your own half, and the guy that was in goal, and you had a cheeky little conversation with him after the game. Is that ideally what it's about? It's 90 minutes full on, then afterwards?
Well, that's what I said. He's also, so he used to be my goalkeeper at Hampton and Richmond, so we know each other quite well. But yeah, as I said, on the pitch, I'm not there to make friends on the pitch with people. I don't care. I'm there to win the game, to fight for my team, fight for the boys, win the game, get it done. And as you've said, I do piss people off on the pitch, and I'm sure I do it on the sidelines as well. But as I said, afterwards, I'll go and have a beer with them. I don't care. I'm not going to hold grudges. But get it done on the pitch, and go and enjoy it after.
Do you realise, because you've obviously played for a lot of clubs locally, do you realise that a lot of clubs love you and hate you? Because when we were away to Hampton and Richmond, you had some good times, obviously, at that book club.
Yeah.
I had a few people behind me when doing the commentary, and I think you got a yellow card in the first half, and I was trying to say it wasn't you, but they were like, oh no, that's definitely Ben. We know what Ben's like, and they all said they wouldn't swap you for anyone else. If they'd have you back.
Well, this is the thing. Like, people say about my aggression is sometimes is a bit too much, but I've been sent off once for Slough in 2.5 years. I've probably missed 2 games through yellow card suspension. So yes, maybe I do get booked too much for a striker, but I also create a lot of things which I shouldn't do as a striker. So it's the rough with the smooth, and this is what I've got a good understanding with bakes and unders about. Like, they always tell me to express myself and play my own game, because they know if I change the aggression and my attitude, then I'm not going to be the same player I am. So I'm not going to change my game for a few yellow cards. And if I get the occasional red card, then so be it. I'm not going out and setting out to get red cards or yellow cards, but if that's part of my game, then that is what it is, unfortunately.
As you've moved it on to that kind of topic, obviously we've already had a quick chat. Obviously, the game that a lot of people want to ask about is Torquay away. But I was obviously commentating on it, and I didn't, from where I was sat, didn't think that you'd actually done anything wrong, because I'd seen you liaise with the Torquay fans maybe throughout that first half, exactly the same way. You got the yellow card for the tackle, and then straight away got a yellow card for waving at the fans.
The first yellow card was a good tackle. That was a good yellow card. But yeah, the second yellow card, and that's just a cock up. That's just a cock up by the referee. I can't do nothing about that. If the fans are allowed to hurl abuse at me, swear at me, shout at me, as you said, as I always say, I don't care. So I'm there trying to wind them up, not saying anything, not doing anything, just the casual royal wave. which obviously the referee got wrong, which he admitted he got wrong, which obviously, unfortunately, led to a second yellow card and me watching across the other end of the pitch with all the fans.
Was that quite a long walk then? Because it was on the far side, but you had to come all the way across the pitch.
That was a very long walk. I remember just about getting into the tunnel, and I think it must have misled by half a foot of lighter just got thrown. But it's all part of football. But yeah, I wouldn't change anything I did that day at all, because, as I said, don't get me wrong, possibly a needless yellow card, but also if that had led to a great challenge and the ball stayed in play and something had happened out of it, everyone would have been saying, "Oh, what a great challenge! You didn't have to go for that ball." The wave, again, Bakes and we've spoke about it, me, Bakes and unders, and they don't want me to do it again, but they both asked me truthfully what I'd done, and that's exactly what I said, and that's exactly what I'd done. Unfortunately, it didn't get overturned, but it is what it is.
Was there any kind of regret for you? Because you must have been sat in that dressing room, obviously bemused by the decision, but it obviously ruined the game plan that the team had.
Yeah, I definitely. Don't get me wrong, I felt bad, but I didn't dwell on it. We were going well. The frustrating thing is we were going well. It was 0-0 at the time. We were pressing high. We were doing all the right things, and as I said, just because a poor refereeing decision changed the game, yes, I did get sent off, but I hold my hands up to that. But again, it's a poor refereeing decision, which is out of my hands, unfortunately.
So I was quite obviously. So I was commentating on what was going on, and there's a chat room. Do your family see the kind of abuse and negative comments? What do they feel about it? Because for you, it's different. You can just say it's my game. I'm not worried about it. But your family hear and see these. How do they feel about it?
My partner, she doesn't like to hear it, and unfortunately, she'll bite back when she shouldn't do them. And my old man, he's not a small boy, but he knows he's playing rugby. He's a sportsman. It's part of the game. Like, if someone wants to swear at me, abuse me, do whatever you want. But it's also them small-minded people would do it behind a little computer screen. I'd rather them, if you've got something to say, come up and say it. If I agree with it, then I'll shake your hand. And if I don't, then I'll tell you I don't agree with it. That's that. I'm not going to get worried about a little keyboard warrior abusing me online. That's not what I'm going to get worried about.
But it doesn't affect your family. You don't go home on a Saturday night after a thing saying, "Oh, so and so said this," or your dad phones you up and says, "Oh, this person's called you this," and whatever.
I think you know me well enough. I will go home and I'll open a nice bottle of red, and I'll normally celebrate a victory. And if it's a loss, I'll go home, open a nice bottle of red, and have a glass of wine. I don't dwell on things that what happens in the game. Don't get me wrong, I'm the biggest sore loser out there, and I hate losing. And I won't laugh after the game. I won't chuckle with the boys in the changing room. I won't do any of that. But it's just like stress at work. I'm not one of these people who takes it home. Yes, I get annoyed and upset, but I'm not going to let it affect my life. I do it because I love the game. I do it because I enjoy the game. And as I said, I'll celebrate victories. I won't celebrate losses, but I won't let it beat me up. But if it's something that I've done, then I'll make sure I work on it and change, hopefully, the outcome of it.
Right, let's get back to something a bit more positive. Your goal scoring record for the Rebels, 31 in 84. That's not bad. Do you prefer playing one up front or being two up front?
Mate, to be quite honest, I'm not too fussed. Obviously, it's always nice having an extra man up top with you for the little flick-ons and the going in, or the little match-up play and all them sort of things. But even when we do our one up top, we've still got two high wide people. So no, I'm not really. I'm not really too fussed the formation. But yeah, the goal scoring's, considering a lot of them times are coming off the bench, or coming off after 60 minutes or something like that. It's not too bad. I'd like it to be higher, but it's a tough league, and it's goals don't get just given to you.
And you've suffered in the second part, or the third part of the season, I guess, more likely. The last 2 seasons, you've suffered some injuries which have taken you out for a couple of months, haven't you? So
yeah. So this is the thing. Like last year, I had the incident at home against Dartford, which busted my knee and put me out for a couple of months. And the year before that, I had my hamstring injuries. So maybe, even though I miss football, I know we all miss football, this 2 months has probably been a bit of a godsend, really, because it has given me time. So I actually took the first 3 weeks off, and I literally done nothing. I done nothing for 3 weeks. I rested, I worked a bit, no runs, no cycles. I literally just had a break. So that was good. It was good for the body. To be quite honest, it was good for the mind as well.
A little known fact. So I also know that Dan Roberts' dad does this as well, but your dad gives you a goal bonus, doesn't he?
Yes.
Right. So 2 questions. The first one is, why has your dad not had a word with Sean Fraser's dad, and maybe Sean will score a few more goals? And then secondly, if it's null and void, have you got to pay your dad back?
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. Even if it all works itself out, because I don't get paid in the friendlies, so that's where most of my goals come.
Is this the key to being a top striker then? Is getting your dad to give you a goal bonus?
Well, I'm different. Well, I suppose I'm a little bit different to other strikers. Like, I don't score as many as normal strikers score, because I'm not that natural finisher who just sits in the box and waits on a mistake or anything like that. I'm the one who does the horrible stuff and the stuff I probably shouldn't do. Headers, the running, the tackling, rah rah rah. But yeah, I'm happy with my my goal ratio. I can't grumble too much, and obviously the Golden Boots the last 2 seasons in a row is a nice little touch as well.
Let's talk about your Slough career. Enjoying your time at Slough?
Love it. Great bunch of lads, and the management. Me, Bakes and Unders have a great relationship. Actual relationship I've not had with any other manager. We can banter each other, call each other a few horrible things, but when it comes down to it, I know what they want out of me, and they know what I want out of them. So we've got a good relationship. I wouldn't be looking to go elsewhere, put it that way.
And obviously, they've got to take your injuries into account, because you've had those injuries, and they do curtail you a little bit. Do they allow you to work around that with training and easing it a little bit?
Yeah, they're good as gold. Even though I'd love to rip them both apart and hammer them, they're good. They are really good. When they know I need a break or a rest, or when I need to come off, even though when I don't want to, they do the right thing for me, even though I don't agree with it sometimes. They're good. They are good. They're both real good with like managing people. Like they deal differently with everyone. So no, they're good. They're good. But that's just on here.
Yeah. Without being too kind to them, because we don't want their heads to get too big. But do you reckon that's the key to their is because they're joint managers, that the 2 of them work so well?
Yes. Oh, definitely. Well, I think outside of football, I think they live in each other's pockets as well. I think I know Unders is married, but I'm a bit partial to say they've got a bit of a different relationship off the field.
I think we better leave that one. you've had some good times at Slough. What has been your best moment? Is it the FA Cup or is it the promotion?
Promotion, Kings Lynn away. Unfortunately, I didn't actually play that game, but just being involved in it all, obviously the build up, the season was tough. Yeah, that was a good moment. That was a real good moment. The boys fought for each other to the end, and actually to go away to Kings Lynn, it's not the easiest place with their crowd, and so they're a great team, and as you can see what they're doing in the National North at the minute. So no, that was for me. That was more enjoyable than the FA Cup.
And what about moments in your career? Have you had some other big moments in your career that people from Slough won't know about?
What have I done? I think the New Zealand, the 3 years I had in New Zealand, the 2 years where I was playing the National League, I actually won both national leagues when I was out there with Team Wellington, which was good, and that actually made us qualify for the Oceania Champions League, which we actually got to the final 2 years running, and unfortunately we lost both finals. But then if you win that, that's a different kettle of fish. That's when you go into the FIFA Club World Cup, which they actually got to last year, and it's good money. It's really good money for the club, and obviously the boys get a little bit of bonus for getting the team there. So that was really cool. Obviously we travelled to a lot of the islands as well in the Oceania Cup with teams like from Fiji, Samoa, New Caledonia, and all them other places, which was awesome. That was so cool.
Right, we're going to move on to more of the questions from Slough fans. I've got one. I think this is more related around penalties, but you play in goal sometimes during the warm up and stuff. Who's the better goalkeeper, you or Jack? Who's the better penalty taker, you or Jack?
Right, better goalkeeper. Jack is a 10 times better goalkeeper than I'll ever be. Penalty taker, I'm going to say me, but I know Jack's going to say him. So we'll let the fans decide that one.
And is it all goalkeepers frustrated strikers and strikers frustrated goalkeepers? Is that the way it is?
Of course it is. But what I've seen a few comments from from the Slough fans every now and then about it's stupid that Ben Harris goes in goal before the game and does all these things and not actually does the warm up with the boys. But what they don't know is before, when I was probably 17, 18, I actually was a goalie. I was playing for Beaconsfield in goal. So I was there for about a year and a half for their first team. That was when was Jamie Jarvis in charge? I think Jamie Jarvis was in charge. And a lot of people don't know that. Don't get me wrong, I've not done it for a few years, but they just think it's just a bit of a muck around, but it's not. It's if Jack does, if we've not got a keeper on the bench, then I know I'm the next choice. And me and Bakes and Unders have spoke about it, and we know if so it was to happen to Jack, then in a game, then I'd go straight in. But obviously, if so it happened in training or something like that, then obviously they'd probably get another one in, and then I'd be second choice to him. So yeah, I think there's a few fans which probably don't know that, so they're allowed their opinion. But yeah, that is what it is.
Right, let's pose this question to you then. Jack gets injured, has to come off, but you've already been substituted. Who is our third choice goalkeeper?
I think it's Lenchi. I think so. Don't hold me to that, but I think he fancies himself with the gloves. Or the other person who does it in training every now and then, who ain't too bad, is Manny Williams. He fancies himself in the sticks.
That I would love to see. I really would. Right, quick fire ones then. best ground you've ever played at?
Ooh, there's I can't remember what it's called. I played at a stadium in New Zealand, which actually was a rugby stadium. I think it was in Dunedin, and it was a massive, big rugby stadium, glass roof. The light was beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Okay, best goal?
Guernsey away when I was at Windsor, or possibly Eastbourne, or Hereford, diving header from outside the penalty spot. It was a good goal.
Can you give us a funniest moment in football that's clean and broadcastable, please?
What a funny story.
Yeah.
When I first went to New Zealand, I made real good connection with my assistant manager, Clarkey. He was a Scottish lad. He's like a father figure to me. He's a real great guy, and I think it was maybe 2 to 3 months in. I can't remember what he'd done to me, but he'd done something to me, and I promised him I'd get him back. But I said to him I'd bide my time. So I went sea fishing, and I'd done well, caught a few fish. Then I remember I took some of the fish home, and later on that day, I made sure I took one full fish with me. So when I got home, filleted it all, but kept the carcass with all the guts and all that. And it was training down at Jubilee Park with all the boys. And I actually, halfway through training, I said I need to go to the toilet. And I actually went into the changing room, nicked my assistant manager's car keys, went to his little, he drove like a little minibus sort of thing, like a big, little big minibus, like camper van sort of thing. And I actually went into his car, and where he sits in the driver's seat, I pushed the seat the whole way back, took a compartment out, and I shoved all the guts and the carcass of the fish under the seat, screwed the compartment back on, and it was winter at the time, so it was bloody cold, and obviously needed to put the heating on. So I remember literally rushing that out, going back out on the field, finish the training. We had a beer after in the clubhouse, and then he actually dropped me off home, funnily enough. And it was just like, it stinks in here. Like, what's that smell? And I was like, I don't know, you must have like some dirty kit in the back or something. And I didn't think nothing of it. And I think that was on a Tuesday. And then got back on a Thursday, he picked me up again, and the smell was getting really bad. And I said, what's this smell? He said, I don't know, I've taken all the kit out, I've washed it all. Anyway, 2 weeks went by, and the smell was horrendous. So I had to confess. I think we were out at dinner. I might have actually been at his house having dinner with his family, and I couldn't take the smell anymore because he kept having to pick me up and dropping me off. So I actually admitted it to him that I'd done that, and he did see the funny side. He did. His wife knew, which was brilliant. So she just refused to get in the car. But then, he's safe to say he got me back for that, but I can't tell you what he done.
So any Slough fans who were looking at maybe giving you a little bit of abuse have been warned?
Yes. There's consequences.
Right. Best player that you've played with, and the best player you've played against?
Best player I've played with. There's a guy I played with in New Zealand. It was unbelievable. It was number 10. His name was Andy Bevan. He was real good. He was a simple footballer, but he was so destructive. He knew when to hold it. He knew when to give it. He knew when to put you in. He was really good. He was probably the best I've played with. I think. Who else? Tarpey I played with. Tarpey was good. Tarpey was really good. Dave Tarpey. Yeah, there's been some good ones. Played against. Best player I played it. Well, it definitely isn't Ryan Bird. I know that. or Mark Nisbet. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know the question. I don't know the answer to that one.
Right, okay. You can pick a six-a-side team from players that you've played with, but we don't want any current Slough players. Who is your six-a-side team?
Rodney, I think his last name was Chisaway. I played with him when I was in Hampton. He was in goal. He was a pilot, and he was a goalkeeper. And he's probably the only other goalkeeper close to Jack. He was incredible. So he'll be my goalie. My right back will be Justin Gully, lad I played with in New Zealand. Played for his national team. He's good, real good right back. Left back, even though he's not a left back, I'm just going to put him there because he's an absolute warrior. His name's Tom Hickey. He'll run through walls for you. He'll do anything. So he's definitely in my team. So what's that? I'll have one in midfield in the 10 role, and that'll be Andy Bevan, who I played with in New Zealand. My two strikers will be Dave Tarpey. Dave Tarpey and Matty Stevens. Yeah, it's a solid six. I'll go with that.
Very good six.
I might have Billy Jeffries as my sub just because he loves a good beer as well. So he's a good lad.
We did have a question from someone called Mike who said at Flackwell Heath, I think you must have had a wayward shot, but it broke his glasses. Do you remember that incident? Have you repaid for the cost of the glasses, or?
I actually think that was in the warm up, because I actually had a good game that day for once. I think that was in the warm up, and he was walking behind the goal. Yes, and as you said, a little bit of a wayward shot, and yeah, it's bonked him on his bonce. So sorry about that, Mike.
Right.
Should have got a Specsavers.
Okay. Only Fools and Horses or Afterlife?
Only Fools and Horses.
Okay. Favourite TV show that you could be in?
Oh, which I could be in?
Yeah, what would you want to be in or go on?
Wicked Tuna.
I love that programme. Programme.
The one.
Who would play you in the Ben Harris Hollywood blockbuster?
Oh, that's a great question. Let's go with, even though I'm not as hard as him, let's go with Vinnie Jones.
All right. And then someone put the best places in Slough or Windsor to get drunk. I don't know how they think you'd know about this kind of stuff.
Oh, I wouldn't go anywhere in Slough to get drunk. I know that. Windsor, just get yourself down All Bar One, start there, and head under the arches.
Brilliant. As usual, we always end with the duck question. We're going to change it a little bit for you.
Okay.
So the question is, would you rather fight 10 duck-sized referees or one referee-sized duck?
I'd have to go with a 10 because I'd get more satisfaction out of beating 10 than I would 1.
Brilliant. Ben, thank you so much for taking the time out for joining us on this interview today. It's been absolutely fantastic. Hopefully we'll get some news very soon and we'll be back for the playoffs. But thank you for joining us and stay safe.
And you, thank you very much.
Cheers, Ben.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.